Does your dog actually see you as their parent? You love them like family, that's obvious. But what about your dog? Do they see you the same way? The answer is hiding in the smallest things they do every single day. Things most owners see but never realize what they actually mean. Once you learn these 5 signs, you'll never look at your dog the same way again. Here are the ones that reveal the truth. Music 1, they look at you first when they're afraid. Have you ever noticed what your dog does the exact moment something scares them? A loud noise, a stranger at the door, something unfamiliar on a walk. Most people focus on calming their dog down, but the real story is in what happens before that. It's in where your dog looks. When a dog is startled or unsure, their first instinct tells you everything. Some dogs scan the room, some dogs freeze, but if your dog turns and looks directly at you before doing anything else, that's not just fear. That's a child looking at their parent for safety. Music, researchers at the Budapest Family Dog Project found that dogs use something called social referencing, which is the same behavior human toddlers use when they encounter something new or scary. They don't just react, they check your face first. They read your expression to decide music, whether they should be afraid or whether everything is okay. And they only do this with the person they trust the most. Think about that. In a moment of panic, when instinct takes over, your dog's brain doesn't tell them to run or bark first. It tells them to find you. That's not training. That's not habit. That's a bond so deep it mirrors the one between a parent and a child. And here's what most people never think about. If your dog looks to you when they're scared, music that already says a lot. But there's another sign, one that happens when your dog feels completely safe. That proves this bond goes even deeper. You probably see it every single night and never realize what it truly means. We'll get to it by the end. 2, they drop their favorite toy at your feet. Ever wonder why your dog walks up to you, drops their favorite toy right at your feet, music, and then just stares at you? Most people assume their dog wants to play, and sometimes, sure, that's exactly what it is. But there are moments where your dog brings you that toy and doesn't nudge it, doesn't bark, doesn't bounce around. They just place it in front of you and sit there. That's not a game, that's a gift. Dogs are naturally protective of the things they value most. Music, their favorite toy, the one they carry everywhere, sleep with, guard from other animals. That object means something to them. So when your dog takes that thing, music, and willingly places it in front of you, they're doing something most people completely misunderstand. They're offering you the most valuable thing they own. Behavioral experts say this goes back to pack dynamics. Music in the wild, bringing something valuable to another member of the group, is a sign of trust, loyalty, and social bonding. Your dog isn't asking you to throw it. They're telling you that what's theirs is yours. It's one of the purest ways a dog says, music, you're my person. So, next time your dog drops that chewed up, slobbery toy at your feet and just looks at you, don't rush to throw it. Sit with them for a second, acknowledge it, because to your dog, they just handed you everything they have. And hey, before we move to the next one, if you're realizing your dog might love you even more than you thought, hit like and subscribe so we can get this video to more people who deserve to know what their dog has been telling them all along. 3, they go crazy the second you walk in. Why does your dog completely lose it the moment you walk through the door? You were only gone for 20 minutes. You just went to grab groceries. But the way they react, you'd think you came back from war. Spinning, whining, jumping, tail going so fast their whole body shakes. It's cute, sure, but what's actually happening inside your dog in that moment is way more powerful than most people realize. A landmark study published in Science found that when dogs and their owners interact, both experience a surge of oxytocin triggered by something as simple as eye contact. That's the same hormonal feedback loop that bonds a mother to her newborn. And when researchers used the same attachment test designed for human infants called the strange situation test, they found that dogs reacted to separation and reunion in almost identical ways. Distress when the owner left, relief and intense contact seeking the moment they came back. Not with strangers, not with familiar people, only with the person they were most music bonded to. So that over-the-top greeting at the front door isn't drama, it's biology. Your dog's brain is responding to your presence the same way a child responds to their parent after being apart. And while dogs don't check clocks, a study in applied animal behavior science found that dogs greeted their owners with significantly more intensity after 2 hours compared to just 30 minutes. They feel the time passing, likely through your fading scent in the house or their own internal rhythms. So the longer you're gone, the more that absence weighs on them. And when you finally walk through that door, that explosion of joy isn't just excitement, it's relief. It's your dog saying, "You came back for me." 4. They walk into your room for no reason. Have you ever been sitting on the couch or working at your desk and your dog just walks in, looks at you, and lies music down? No tail wagging, no toy in their mouth. They don't need food. They don't need to go outside. They just came music in, checked on you, and settled somewhere nearby. Most people don't even think twice about it. But this small, quiet behavior might be one of the most meaningful things your dog does. This is called proximity monitoring. And in the world of animal behavior, it's one of the clearest signs of a secure attachment bond. Your dog isn't bored, they're not being clingy. They're doing the exact same thing a young child does when they wander into the kitchen just to make sure mom or dad is still there. They don't need anything, they just need to know you're close. Music, what makes this even more telling is when it happens during sleep. Your dog is in the middle of a nap in another music room, completely comfortable, and then gets up, walks over to wherever you are, and lies back down. Music, they gave up their comfortable spot just to be near you. That's not convenience, that's a choice. And dogs only make that choice with the person who makes them feel the safest. 5. They always fall asleep facing you. Remember earlier when we talked about how your dog looks at you first when they're afraid? Music, that's trust in a moment of panic. But what about when there's no fear at all? What about when your dog feels completely safe, completely relaxed? Music, and still chooses to direct themselves toward you? That's what this sign is about. And it's the one most owners see every single night without music ever realizing what it means. When your dog falls asleep, they're in their most vulnerable music state. Their guard is fully down. Every instinct that tells them to stay alert, to protect themselves, to watch for threats, all of it shuts off. And in that moment, the direction they face is a choice, not a random one. Dogs naturally position themselves during sleep based on what matters most to them. Some face the door because they're guarding it. Music, some curl up against a wall because it makes them feel protected. But if your dog consistently falls asleep facing you, that's something different entirely. And here's what makes this the most powerful sign on this list. Fear is loud. Greeting you at the door is loud, bringing you a toy is loud, but this is silent. Your dog doesn't need anything from you in that moment. They're not asking for food or walks or attention. They're asleep. And even then, even in a state where they have no control over what they do, their body still turns toward music. That's not training, that's not habit. That's a bond so deep it doesn't even need them to be awake to show it. So tonight, when your dog curls up and drifts off, look at which way they're facing. If it's you now, you know music, you're not just their owner, you're their parent. And they've been telling you that every single